I'm Tim Costello, and I'm here at Builder Innovator with a closer look at Hydraloop. Now, I have to tell you, I'm so excited because this is a rare opportunity. My job in the world is to go find innovative, advanced building technologies that haven't even come to the home building industry, like to the National Association of Home Builders show or to Builder Innovator, and kind of identify them and bring them. And I saw Hydraloop years ago at the Consumer Electronics Show.
Okay.
And I remember reporting on it then going, oh my God, there's this brand new device and it helps you recycle the gray water in the house and it makes this whole system so interesting and it's gonna come to housing. And lo and behold, here you are.
Here I am.
So let us, first of all, give me a little bit of origin story. Where on earth did this start? Who came up with the idea? How long has it been around? Did I really discover it at CES or has it been around for 150 years and I didn't know about it?
All good questions. Great to be here, Tim. Thanks for having me on. The organization Hydraloop has a very interesting beginning. I'm just lucky enough to represent them in North America. Arthur Valkieser and his wife Sabine Stiver both were retired. Arthur was a multimedia.
These sound like two genius Scandinavians.
Right, European. They're from the Netherlands.
Yep.
And Arthur actually put in money to a patent that he believed in on recycling water. It was a friend of his, and Arthur believed in it, and he spoke to it about it with everyone that he met, and the gentleman that owned the patent was going to let it slide, and Arthur was so passionate about it, he took it on and totally reinvented.
Now, why did you and I not find this patent? And we could have
right?
gone into the
Exactly.
business. And then
exactly.
it could have been our origin story.
I know. And now what Hydraloop doing is sending Hydraloop messages all over the world.
So when was the product, obviously it took years to develop the product and get it to the state, because by the way, it is a stunning product, which is unusual for the housing industry. A lot of time our back-end appliances, and I'd kind of call this, this is not like sitting in the middle of your kitchen, but our back-end appliances aren't necessarily gorgeous.
Yes.
This thing's beautiful.
Yes, and that was important to Arthur to make sure.
Well, it's kind of important to me too.
Yeah.
It caught my eye. I loved it because it makes utility. I have a passion around utility rooms and how terrible they are.
Yes.
And I always love it. I get hooked by all the Instagram and TikTok videos of the people that have all of the, it's all perfectly aligned and everything is lined up. And I can see a Hydraloop in every one of those.
Yes.
So when did Hydraloop actually launch their first product?
Their first product launch was actually right after CES.
Okay, so when I saw it.
Yeah, exactly. And they won, at that show, they won best of the best of everything, which is phenomenal. And that's what that's how everything started.
Because I found you, I think it was at, what's it called? It's not Sneak Peek, but it's before the show opens for media.
Yes.
Whatever it's called. I can't remember what the name of that thing is. And I was there that night and trolling the show. And I'm always trolling the show, seeing is there any technology that might be useful in housing? Because usually there's not very much actually that's explicitly for housing.
Yes.
And there you were.
Absolutely.
All right, so you launched, that was probably what, 3 years ago?
2020.
Yeah, okay, so 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago now. And did it launch in Europe first, or did it launch worldwide all at the same time?
Yes, no, they started in Europe because they wanted an installation base throughout the European countries. And I'm sure you're not surprised by this, but the barriers were much less in the European countries than they are in North America. So they started there, built up their installation base, and then slowly started to bring on people within North America. And there's different regulations that we needed to comply with for North America. So that took
the North American market can get weird because we have national building codes, we have a local building code. Yes. So you get into all this kind of stuff. You got to figure out what applies to me in all these different areas and stuff. You get licensed plumbers, non-licensed plumbers also.
Exactly.
So lots of different issues there. So first, why don't we just talk to the audience, what is Hydraloop? I know what it is, but I bet they don't. So why don't we talk about what's the function of it? Why does it exist?
Absolutely. And it's an honor for me to actually represent the company because it is such an innovative product. And tiny background on myself, I've always been in the water industry and rainwater harvesting for many years is what I was looking at. But what with rainwater harvesting?
Okay, you and like what, 2 other people in the entire world are in this industry?
Me and this other person, but with rainwater harvesting, the water supply is unpredictable. But with gray water recycling, it is there. We know how much we have. So basically what the device is, it's like an appliance. Nothing has to be dug into the ground. It is the size of a refrigerator. And what we do is we take gray water from showers and baths, optionally from washing machines, dehumidifiers, air conditioning condensation, All of this can be brought into the device, and we're treating it.
Right, just kitchen sinks out because that's a different code and it has a different level of content and material in it.
Yes.
And of course, toilets are out as well.
Exactly. So black water, and there is some confusion within the building industry that what are the different waters?
Yeah, well, you get an impression of what's black water and everything.
Exactly.
So toilet is, but kitchen sinks also usually considered black
Yes,
water.
kitchen sinks, dishwashers, floor drains, those are all considered black.
Okay.
So what we're trying to do is...
So I have a real quick question.
Yeah,
Sorry,
sure.
I know I'm interrupting.
Yeah.
Sorry. But what percentage of effluent water is gray water versus black water?
If you were to look at, so let's look at toilet flushing and how much we use for toilet flushing. We are using 25% of the water, that potable water that comes into the home to flush the
Just to
toilets.
flush toilet.
We can...
Unless you have teenagers, in which case it's zero, right? I mean, you never flush the toilets.
They're letting it mellow. Yeah, so what we're doing is we can definitely take over that volume. We have more than enough to, it's probably about, I would say, 45% of the water, the wastewater we're producing would be gray water.
Gray water.
Yeah.
All right. So 45% of our water is gray water. We got this stunning, again, I can't mention it enough, this stunning household appliance that probably goes in a utility room someplace, gets integrated into your plumbing, gray water, right? So we're separating the gray water. It's flowing into the unit. The unit plugs in. Keep telling me the story. What happens now?
Yeah, so basically, we're not letting any gray water sit. It's directed right to the Hydraloop system. We're treating it immediately, so then we can use it for toilet flushing, we can put it back into the washing machine, or we can direct it outdoors for irrigation. Go to a rain barrel.
So it's not potable water,
No,
but it can be used back into the black water side of the system as fresh water.
Yeah, so basically, we're replacing the fresh water that typically is used to flush toilets, use in laundry.
With treated gray water.
With treated gray water.
Or it goes outside.
Yes, or it can go outside, yeah.
That sounds awesome. You know, you think about all the problems that we're having in certain areas of this country with availability of water. And I've talked about this with builders before. Sometimes you can't even get permitting. So, you know, I want to build this community, and they go, well, you're going to have to wait. And you have to wait until we get the water rights, right, in order to be able to fulfill all that. It seems like you could reduce substantially the amount of water required per home, which might give you a leg up in even getting permitting, or you might be able to get permitting from some organization where other communities won't even be able to get permitted because you're doing such a great job managing the water.
Yeah, and if you look at the state of Florida, which Florida is amazing when it comes to...
There's water everywhere.
Yeah, they have water everywhere, but they're running out. Florida is growing by 1,500 people per day moving into the state. So what's happening is they're pulling off an aquifer and they're running out of water. Florida actually offers a 35% density credit to builders and developers if they claim if they say they're going to put gray water recycling into 100% of their homes.
And so we're not even talking about Tucson and Phoenix and Las Vegas and all, you know, the classic desert don't have water. And boy, most of Texas is starting to really, I live in Austin. Austin has grown so much. We have very limited surface water. Aquifers are very sensitive to over tapping and oversubscription. So everybody's getting concerned about, you know, fresh water availability, even in Texas.
Yep, absolutely. And the interesting thing about Hydraloop, even though it is a European country and it originated in the Netherlands, when it was designed specifically towards North American standards. So under North American standards, you have to certify under a standard called NSF 350, which is accepted under the IPC plumbing code and the UPC plumbing code. It's written right in there. So that's what we certified for to make it easier to move things along.
I have to tell you, I'm super curious. How did this thing get invented in the Netherlands? Because my personal experience, it rains 266 days a year in the Netherlands. Okay, so they have all the water in the world. But anyway, know what? They did. Maybe it's because they know so much about water.
Actually, they're running out of water. That's a misconception. The Netherlands is actually implementing into their plumbing code. They're going to mandate that builders implement gray water recycling into the homes.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. It's a misconception because even in Canada, I'm from just outside of the Toronto area, and everyone thinks Canada has so much water.
Because your Lake District, just north of Toronto, all those beautiful lakes.
In areas of British Columbia, every summer, they're under water scarcity. But the other end of the coin to look at, Tim, is that it's the wastewater production.
Yes.
Developments are going in and the wastewater treatment plants can't handle the load.
Yes.
So whatever you don't have to bring into a home, You don't have to
Don't
bring
have to
out.
go. And that's another permitting issue too, right? Maybe they have fresh water, but they don't have wastewater capacity.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
a lot of really interesting opportunities there. So from a builder's perspective, cool tool, right? Super environmentally, kind of efficient and product. Something that a lot of people would be interested in. What does a builder have to do though? So if I'm going into this, how do I have to think about design, trades? And also then marketing eventually,
Yep,
right?
yep.
What would that look like?
Well, the plumbing configuration is different, obviously, because we're directing
Separating gray and black water.
Exactly. So we're directing our gray water to the device, and then we have to have our lines for our reusable water, which is our treated gray water, to toilets, et cetera. So there's about a 5% increase in plumbing.
Yeah, I was going to say it can't be that much though,
Yeah.
because you're looking, when you look at toilet lines, you're looking at very large lines and all that kind of stuff. But we're not rerouting toilet lines, right? We're rerouting smaller lines from sinks or showers
Exactly.
and things like that. So,
Exactly.
maybe, there's a few feet, 20 feet, 30 feet, 50 feet more,
Additional plumbing, yeah.
PVC type piping in a, it doesn't seem that crazy to me.
Yeah, and we offer something that we call making a home recycle ready. So the configuration is ready. Obviously, new homes is much more economical to use one of these devices. And you can retrofit them into a home. It's
harder.
Yeah, it's hard. It's not as cost effective. It's been done though.
That's a neat part about new home construction. There's so many cool technologies these days that go into a home. They're all kind of hard to put into an existing home.
Yeah,
It's a significant amount of work. That's why new home builders have such a leg up. We can build such a better product, offer such a better way to live in our homes today if we start from the ground up and build right.
And I heard something a couple months ago at one of the summits I was at, is why are we continuing to build the rotary phone home when we can build an Apple home? And it's so true. And it's not just for the technology. We just need to be more sustainable. We need to be proactive instead of reactive, especially when it comes to our water.
Awesome. Well, I hope we piqued your interest. Hydraloop is something that I think is worth checking out. So excited that I've seen this whole life cycle coming from the very first time it came into the United States, all the way through to being here at Builder Innovator. Please check out Hydraloop. Think about how you can be more efficient with the water that you use in your new modern home.